So, Rejoice is a very loud person. I talk a lot. For those who know me, they know that I make a lot of noise. I am that one person who would want to crack a joke when, we are all together in a room and they are very tensed and, they need that kind of atmosphere to try to restructure their train of thoughts and deliver efficiently. I'm that one person who just get up and do those gymnastics and they are laughing all over the place. Yes, and I'm a choleric, working so hard to improve the the negative side of cholerism. I'm also a go-getter, so when I set my mind to do something, trust me, all I need to do is to have faith in God. The rest, just leave it for me, and I'll make sure that I'll execute it. It might take days, it might take months, it might take weeks, but at the end of the day, I will deliver. And then also, I'm someone who you cannot easily convince me out of something that I believe in. My convictions are my convictions. You can't talk me out of it. That is it. My engineering career, so I'm a professional engineer with the Ghana Institution of Engineers. So engineering was not something that I had to struggle with to decide on. Yes, right from childhood, I was surrounded with a lot of boys, my brothers, my cousins. They were majority of them were males, so you know the nature of their toys, from Scrabble, Junior Scrabble, to puzzles, to car races, to road rashes, to computer games, to fidgeting with gadgets, to assembling and disassembling things that you buy for them, spoiling torchlights, trying to fix it back. They were very inquisitive, and I picked that from them. And then also, naturally, I'm somebody who would always want to know the whys behind the what. I don't care what you are doing, but I want to know why you are doing what you are doing. You understand? So anytime there is an act or there is something, I'm a bit skeptical, and I would want to know the other side of the coin. What informed your decision to do what you are doing, or what informed that particular thing that is in existence? You get it? So maybe that bit of me contributed to my decision to end up in the engineering discipline. And so my father had to come in when I was moving from senior high school to do my undergraduate study, to help me navigate my path very well, to try to kind of coach me to become a better version of myself. You get it? So he actually confirmed what I believe I could do. And I was also coming from a home where you are not limited by your sex or your gender. The world is open for us to explore. Do what you want to do. Once it is not morally wrong, then my parents are very, very extremely supportive and accommodating. So that was also part, because I didn't have to struggle to explain anything to anybody. They were a bit advanced in the future of work, and therefore whatever you want to do, you can do it. My kid brother is a designer, communications design, graphic, that kind of toys, cartooning, and so it's a blend. They understand the future of work, and they also believe that everybody is unique, and therefore they should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. So I think I didn't have to struggle. I knew I was a STEM person right from childhood, because I remember I told Nzekujo, one of my junior high school classmates, I was going to be the first female Ghanaian to land in space. Yes, but yeah, I'm now. But you never know. It's a dream. It could come true. Yes, it could come true. So one of these days, when you see me there, you don't have to be surprised at all. At all. Yes. My research is more about women. I'm solving a women problem. I'm solving a community-based problem. I say this because when you come in the area of clean cooking, when you come to Ghana, we have done so well with the households, about the 2 million people within the rural households. The government have done well in providing, interventions in various forms for some of these people, and I expect that the gap should be bridged by now to a certain figure. However, the women in the small scale industries are not ready to accept what is on the market because they feel that they as end users are left out in the decision making process in terms of the design of the cook stove. What is existing now is not economically attractive, it's not aesthetically pleasing, a whole lot of design limitations for them. It doesn't fit into their cooking practices. Therefore, no matter how innovative your breakthrough is, they are not ready to accept it because they feel that you start somewhere and you design something and you want them to use it, and then it has been tried and tested. Most of the existing ones, when they want to cook with it, you are looking at weights of like 500 kg, between 200 kg to 1000 kg on a cook stove. They prepare their food in large quantities, so you are looking at something that is strong enough, that is portable to support this kind of weight. And we're still having some challenges in that area, so we are looking at how we will try to solve this problem. Even though about 28,000 people in Ghana, according to the World Health Organization, die out of combined household air pollution from the cook stoves, from the crude cook stoves. People are still not ready to accept what is on the market, irrespective of the deforestation issues associated with the felling down of trees to use as firewood in the tripod stove. That is a 3-stone stove. You see, you put one stone here, one stone there, one stone there, you put firewood in it, and then you light, and it's combusting and it's giving you the energy you need to do the cooking. The women are not ready to accept any new technology apart from what they already know because they feel it works best for them. So the biodiversity displacement that is caused by this deforestation, they don't care about it. The climate madness, they don't care about it. And I think I understand them, because why should I invest in something that is not beneficial? At the end of the day, it becomes like, for want of a better word, like white elephants. It doesn't actually make any sense. So we are trying to see how we will get there. I say we because my supervisory team, we are together we are working together hand in hand to make everything something that the woman or the women can adapt and use. And then also, beyond the research, we are not interested in just producing a prototype and leaving it in the lab. We want to look at the business aspect of it as well. If an investor comes and wants to invest in the design, is this something with results-based financing models? Like, is this something that would attract financing from whichever agency, ourselves or something? If I'm putting my money in such a design, how am I sure that it's going to scale up? Irrespective of the fact that about 41% of the world population, that is about 3 billion people, do not have access to clean cooking. People are so reluctant. They don't look at the business aspect of this whole problem. So my work is mainly to solve the climate problem, provide businesses, jobs for people, to reduce the health, the pneumonia, the lung cancer, the maternal mortality issues associated with the use of these stoves. So yes, basically that is a bit about my work, and I enjoy it because I feel that I am trying to work together with them, sort of they are partners in whatever I'm doing. Yes, they are partners in whatever I'm doing. So the first phase of the work is done, where I went to the women, I interacted with them, I tried to find out their perception on the old designs and what they expect from a new one, and it was fun. I just love it. So my passion for women is STEM. I'm a woman, so definitely that is number one. And then number two, I'm looking at it from this angle, the future of work. The global population now has about 50.42% of men, and about, let's do the math, is it 49.58% of women. So definitely, in terms of human resource gap, assume that it is only men that are working. What happens to the remaining 49 point something percent of the women out there? And then also, I read somewhere, I'm not so sure of the source, that by 2030 the future of work is STEM. and I do believe it. Whether from ranging from beauty products to telecommunications to food security to road construction to health, everything is STEM. To climate change, to talk about it, just mention it, and you have a link with STEM. Yes, so if we don't train this greater percentage of the people to match up the human resource deficit gap, then what is the future of the world? And then also I look at it from this perspective, apart from the economic gains that it could add to the GDPs of the various countries that harness the potential of the women they have. I look at it from a point where I'm a mother, every child's first point of call is his or her mother. So a woman who does not understand, you don't have to be a genius. A woman who does not understand STEM, does not appreciate the new developments and the future of technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, coding, that kind of thing. How are you going to support your children in their childhood development, early childhood development? Yes, there are teachers who are good at that, but beyond what the teacher gives to your child in the class, you as a mother, what are you willing to contribute to the life of your child? You get it? So if you don't appreciate them, then it will even influence the type of toys you get for your child. You become versatile. You want your child to be formed rightly. So instead of providing all dolls for female, those Barbie dolls with the hair and the brushes and those fancy clothings, you would want to make it a balanced one. You include toys with alphanumeric kind of games, puzzles. I love puzzles because when I was a kid, I played with that a lot. Yes. Scrabbles, chess, drafts, something that will help in the brain formation, a balanced brain formation. So if you're a woman and you don't understand or appreciate this, then where is our world going in the next 10 to 20 years? You understand? And then also I look at it from this angle, making STEM very normal for girls. As you can see in my Instagram name, we've lived with the stereotype perception that STEM is for men. The people who introduced education to us had existing biases in their education when they were in the area of STEM before they introduced those of us in the global south to STEM or to education. So these stereotypes have lasted for a very long time and is still ongoing. And if you don't make deliberate and purposeful action to bust these gender stereotypes, I don't think that the future of women is in the right position. Because if we continue with how girls are, subtly deceived or talked out of STEM career, specifically I'm an engineer, so let me use that as an example. They say that engineering is an all men affair. You become hard, you become skilled. No, that is a misconception. There are some of us who are a bit balanced. I'm very that type when I want to be, and the feminine side of me is also there. And I have a lot of colleagues who are engineers, and I ask her WhatsApp. She's an amazing person. If she doesn't tell you that she's a STEMinist, you might think that she's a newscaster or some model or something. The fact that you are in STEM does not make you a man. You are a woman and you are beautiful like that. So I want the young girls to think that no matter how intelligent or how beautiful they are, STEM is still for them. You can still be that amazing, soft, sweet woman and still be excelling in your STEM career. So that misconception that when you are doing STEM or when you are an engineer, you are a bit, hard, a bit tough. It's more of a personality thing than it is a career or an educational thing. I understand that the courses help in your brain formation, but it is more of a personality. My type, I'm a choleric sanguine, and I carried that to my work. And I have another colleague, Charlotte, who is also a sanguine man. She carried it to her work. So we carry our personalities into our work or our education and not the other way around. About the 1 million girl in STEM campaign, it is with the Women in Engineering Johannesburg. So it's a collaboration with UNESCO to reach out to about 1 million girls within the next decade. So it started from 2017 to 2027. We want to reach out to about 1 million girls through what we are having right now, meaningful conversations, deliberate conversations that project what other females in STEM discipline, specifically engineering and technology, are doing through advocacy, through awareness creation, through webinars, through workshops, through robotics and AI trainings. It is a campaign that is deliberate and intended to make STEM, specifically engineering and innovation, attractive to the girl child. So we go to schools. Personally, what I do is I go to schools because I am limited by the sophisticated resources I have to use to get to my audience. I go to school and I do career guidance very often. Yes, I find myself doing the career guidance more often than I have this robotics and that kind of thing. It's a bit expensive. So the little way I can, I try to contribute in that area. And then also we are trying to reframe the narrative of where a girl is asked what she wants to do in future, a future career, and then she's left thinking for about days and months without coming up with any solid thing to do, or trying to see herself in another person, or trying to mimic another person's career or area of interest. We want her to have an intrinsic motivation where she feels that this drink, what is in it, what is the composition of whatever is in this thing, I would want to find out what is it. Then maybe she will try to consider an engineering discipline that has to do with this, maybe chemical engineering. I may be wrong. You can correct me. Someone who is interested in this limb, the prosthetics, people with disability, they have compassion for such people, and they will want to find out how to solve that disability problem. And if you're someone who likes food like myself, you want to go into agric engineering, and you want to find out how food can be grown in a better way, can be stored post-harvest to avoid huge post-harvest losses, and then to also know how the residue can also be used as resources for other meaningful things. And then if you're someone who is interested in the construction of road, someone who it should be something intrinsic. If we, for example, this fabric I'm wearing, there are people who want to wear different textures of fabric depending on the occasion or something. So if you're someone like that, people who want to learn, they want to know more, they want to fidget with stuff. There are others also who are always on the internet, they are surfing, it should be something intrinsic. So we are trying to encourage them to look within themselves. What is there? What is already in you? We want you to develop that to become a better version of yourself. You understand? So the 1 million girls in STEM campaign is more of a deliberate and intended action to make STEM very attractive for girls, and also to introduce them to the future of work and make them aware of the numerous opportunities that are available for them. I have a lot, so maybe I would share 2 of them. Yes. So the first one would be my undergraduate study. In my introduction, I said I went to a girls' school. I don't remember. Yeah, maybe I said it or not. Yeah, I went to an all-girls school for 3 years. It was a girly thing, And then here I come to KNUST in a class of about 100 and something people with about 12 girls. And I'm like, God, am I making the right decision? What is happening to me? There were many. No matter how strong I come across, like people see me to be. In fact, those were intimidating moments for me. My first years, I couldn't talk in class. When there's a breakaway, when you are in a group of about 6, 7, I was very loud. But put all of us together, and I was shying away. So it affected me so well that even asking questions in class was a problem. So I had to align with the right people in the class, so that they can help me in this area. I used to go to them, group studies, I was with them, evening studies, I was with them. And one thing was, I wasn't someone who can just like cramp or whatever. When you feed me with an information, it's difficult for me to retain it, but allow me to explore, and I can just deliver on the spot when I'm called to do so. You get it? So at that point, I hadn't discovered that that was the right way for me to learn. So I struggled in my early years, and I also couldn't I also couldn't confide in any female lecturer at then. The only one I knew was this lady, an engineer. Actually, there were lots of other female STEM lecturers, but I'm talking about an engineer. Even in my department, there was no lady agric engineer. No female lecturer. So the one was mechanical engineering Dr. Lena Juffa Mensah. I actually admired her from a distance, but I could never approach her until I started my PhD. And then I realized that, wow, she was one of the most beautiful and sweetest person ever. She's one of my mentors, somebody who can just call me, I call, and then when I have a challenge, she's ever ready to assist me. Yes. So in terms of that, shying away in class, I picked people who were good, and I made sure I disturbed them very well to help me understand what was supposed to be understood in class. And then also in terms of work, you have to always go an extra mile to prove a point that indeed your ideas are valid and it has to be accepted. When you find yourself on the decision-making table, sometimes you feel that there are a lot of women in STEM. During the undergraduate studies, we were 11. I was very comfortable. We got to the master's level in my class. I think we were like 3 girls. PhD, we were 2. So you see, the further you go, the less of us we see there. We are not many up there. So it makes, when we find ourselves on the decision-making table, sometimes it's very, very challenging for us. You'd have to always prove a point that you are good. Beyond your gender, there is something valid. Sometimes they don't even want to look in the direction where you are sitting, the other sex. They just don't want to listen to you. But at the end of the day, after whining and whining and whining and whining and whining, your ideas win. You understand? So that is one of the challenges I face. And I always have to make sure that I fight this. Not physically, but, in a subtle way, smart way. Sometimes I have to take out, when I have to write a concept, I take out something that's very important, a gap there, so that even though they read, but still they are not getting what the whole thing is about until I am called on, to come and explain. Then they now understand that, she actually knows her stuff. And then one thing about the pressure of getting married, of course, they are amazing friends and colleagues who want the best for you. But on the flip side, others also want to capitalize on that all the time. You should be married right now. That is why no man will want to marry a woman like your type. Oh, my friend. There are some of the challenges, but in terms of the marriage, I am extremely open. When the time is right, I'll marry. Why not? Finding the right person is what I'm looking out for. My father always says that it's always a way to marry right than to marry wrong and regret later years in your life. After all, I'm just between 28 to 30. My age range is between 28 to 30. So, where the rush? Yes. So, at the right time, I'll get married. So, that is what I told them. Anytime it comes up, at the right time, I'll get married. But I don't want you to use that as something that you would want to use against me because I'm not married. And so what? How does it affect what I'm doing at work? You understand? I'm a science communicator because after my work, the work is for public consumption and not for me. So I want to I communicate whatever I do through either scientific writing or through advocacy to make sure that the public understands whatever it is I want them to understand. At the end of the day, no matter how brilliant your interventions or your innovations or your research is, if the public does not understand what you are doing, then what have you done? Your name remains on the shelf. Nobody knows about what you've done. The problem might have been solved 20 years by you, but nobody will hear of it because you never communicated properly to those who were meant to hear what was in that thing that you did. You understand? So I love to communicate, and then that is what I would do once God grants me life. That is what I stand for. All right. Thank you so much for having me once again.